Yvonne, you were the first woman to be CEO of a bank in Malaysia. So can you tell us, what do you think the key factors were that led to your success?
I think the first key thing I would say is, as a woman, you must want to have it. There are many opportunities at the top, and if you want it, you have to be very clear in your goals, your purpose, and take actions towards that goal. It's not an easy journey because one has to have the fortitude to stay resilient and stay the course. I know many of my friends have started on the right goals, taken action, but halfway through they have left. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. They have their own reasons for within their capacity and within what is of value and of meaning to them at that stage of their life. Yes, you need to have to want it first.
Would you say that some of them ended up leaving because there are doubters or naysayers who did not feel that a woman is capable for the position, for a high-ranking position in a traditionally male-dominated industry?
Oh, it's been a tough journey, no question about that, especially maybe not so much now, but more so during when in the 70s and 80s and 90s. There have been many women who have left the pipeline in the midst of their career for a lot of reasons, for family reasons most of the time, and in some ways it's also against some of their own personal DNA that they feel that they don't have to really achieve at the top, but they have reached the potential of where they think their own personal capacity has. I respect that because there are today a lot of many educated people, educated women who have chosen to take care of their families, who have chosen to leave the job and join their husbands overseas. But of course there are a lot of naysayers. The naysayers were saying that, oh, let's watch and see how long they can stay at the top. Obviously staying at the top, reaching the top is easy. Staying at the top and to sustain it would really require a lot of sacrifices. And as I said earlier, it's not easy. The women themselves must want to want it. And they need to have very supportive partners as well. And also good relationships that they connect with, that they could be able to come in and support them, especially in matters at home when it's required.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that's how you juggled work and family?
I was lucky to have a very supportive partner in the sense that being obviously a strong and confident person he is, he's always very supportive about people achieving the best, male or female sons or daughters. And also we had good help at home, that helps. And obviously you can't have it all, because if you want to go to office and work and you know you have to be on time for your meeting and all, you can never have a perfect breakfast on the table or perfect lunch on the table. You just have to rely on other people. And if you are able to come to terms with that you can't be having the best meal at home and yet want to be the best career lady, it's just not possible. Something has to give.
Mm-hmm. It's about compromising and sacrificing.
It's about compromising and sacrifice, but yet knowing what you want. As I said, if you believe that you have to bring, that it matters to you in self-fulfillment, that you really have to make use of the brains that you have been given, and you really want to do something of value to yourself, and in the process also of value to the family, go ahead and do it. But for some people, they will reach their capacity. They just believe that that's the max they can do. They're happy to where they are. They do not want the CEO role. And they say, because I think I'm not prepared to give up my entire 24 hours of life. There's only limited time left to give up at the expense of my family. I mean, that's something you have to respect.
Yeah. We do hear a lot about women getting passed over for promotions because they leave the workforce, because they go home, they decide to raise their families instead. But we also hear about their reluctance to be seen as aggressive when it comes to demanding a promotion, for example. What's your take on this, and how does a woman then navigate these challenges in order to occupy a senior leadership position?
I would say that's changing, but you're right to say that somehow women do not negotiate for their salaries. In my own experience, I find women actually enjoy doing what they think they do best. And they leave it to the system to decide whether they get promoted or they get their raise. I think men, by nature, I think would ask and demand for a promotion or a raise, or why are they not getting the raise. In many ways, I think it's the woman's traits. We are more nurturing. We are able to, I think, prepared to accept compromise sometimes, meet halfway and achieve a win-win situation. We are also quite nurturing in the way we go about handling our colleagues, and we are also able in some ways to confront the negative news relative to, say, the average male worker. I would say that in some ways they are good leadership traits, but in some ways I think it could be a bit more demanding. But I have to say that's maybe changing today, especially in the millennial age.
In your CEO role, did you take action to foster a more active participation of women in the workplace?
See, all along my career, whenever I hire or have people around me, I've always been guided by meritocracy and what they can perform and what they can deliver. And obviously not all the time that I would just say, I must take the perfect candidate. There are many situations whereby I see the potential in a candidate and I will give them an opportunity. Having said that, I'm always surrounded with a lot of women. For a very simple reason, I think women have obviously performed and delivered. So consciously or unconsciously, I've always had them around me. Not only when I was rising up in my career, but also when I had the opportunity to lead as CEO and having the C-1 leadership. In my own career, the C-1 leadership, I have more than 50% of women with me all the time. And they have performed and they have delivered, and we're proud of them. At the same time, even at the board members, for board seats, I have taken the initiative to recommend women on boards, and again, very proud they've upheld the women to make sure that we continue to stay on board and we get a good reputation among the business community as well.
Would you say that things like providing more flexible work arrangements, better maternity leave, was that also part of your focus?
I think having maternity leave and working at home sometimes and some days in office, I would consider it's not very basic. Basic needs that the employer has to provide. But whether you can work fully at home, it will depend on the nature of the business. Of the particular company. And to some people, they always love to have people around them. To some people, don't worry, everything is on technology. What we need to worry is look at the outcomes. But we cannot run away from connected relationships. To build unity in teams, you need to collaborate and meet in person. You need to share the emotional attachment together, the goal alignment together. There's a certain amount of offsite you can do, but nothing like connected relationships face to face.
Right, in a social environment.
Obviously.
Right. It's 2017. Only 5% of Malaysian women are occupying CEO roles. So what do you think is the future of female leadership in the corporate world?
I don't believe in legal quotas per se, but having goals set up together with very clear encouragement, incentives, and the environment to employers and companies would be very helpful. That in itself will force the thinking at the top to be mindful and to be conscious, to try to bring as much women to the top and to sit at the board tables as much as possible. In many ways, when we have more women at the top, there will be a lot more thinking what women think as well, from a woman's angle, to give a more even view, whether it's in business or whether in any philosophy. That definitely would help. Instead of just the old boys network, we can have a more balanced network, male and female at the top. Because in the reality of the world, if I'm running an organization, I want the best candidate, male or female.
Right.
So that's only fair to the organization and their shareholders.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is the 21st century, the digital age. So tell me your thoughts. I mean, what are your thoughts on leadership as a whole, male or female, regardless of. Yeah.
I think the 21st century leadership, if we want to continue to use the traditional tools to prepare for leadership roles, employers or individuals per se, I think they are changing.
Mm-hmm.
Today, with the technology and the digital world, people hold many jobs. People have a lot of personal interests and things they run for passion. It may not necessarily be aligned with the companies that you have, but you can see the potential of leadership in the individuals. So there's also instant gratification. There's also multiple jobs available. So to stay consistent on a career and say that you want to achieve to be a CEO within a span of 10, 15 years, unless the industry is not evolving as fast with technology, the traditional tools of leadership development may hold water. But for more of those technology world that we are in, I think the leadership tools are a lot different. There's a lot more need to be observations. Then there's a lot need of making sure there are different influences for different traits, and there's a lot more time that you have to give them for their personal pursuits of their hobbies. It's a very different way of approaching it, and allowing them to be themselves, and then giving them the environment and the space, nurturing them to achieve the best potential in them would be, I think, something different from the traditional ways of developing leadership.
Right. So more companies would then have to reinvent and repurpose their leadership goals and methods.
Oh, no question about that. I think if you were to stay the old way of the 360 degrees or effectiveness surveys, I think it just wouldn't work anymore.
Right. You've got to keep abreast of.
Yes, we have to keep abreast of what's happening in the realities of today. But most important thing, I think, to the young leader to be, the need to be themselves seems so important. So how do you align their self, the passions for themselves versus the goals of the company? That's the challenge.
And I guess that's something that applies to all employees, male or female. What about your legacy? What do you see for your legacy, and what kind of legacy do you want to leave?
You know, I have been fortunate to be at the top and to be able to say to walk away and be less active instead of going day to day and being an executive role. It's to spend some time for myself, and especially as Jane Fonda calls it, the third leg of your life, which is the life where you should spend time on appreciating what you have done and how to move forward. And for me, it's also very self-fulfilling to be able to share with the young and the youth, male and female, my own experience, my own journey. I'm also learning from them, reinventing myself, and making sure that you are agile and have the energy and a good health to enjoy what's you set out to be. I think to be able to continue to provide value, for me, it's to share with the young and to share with the community and their loved ones their own experiences and to guide them to achieve their own personal best, to achieve their potential, and to also tell them, like any individual, that I have achieved it not because luck and timing is important. I think it matters, but it's also that it was a deliberate and conscious goal, purposeful action taken, and that if you set up yourself on that basis, you can achieve your best in whatever you choose to be. Right. It doesn't have to be a banker. It can be the best teacher to your child. It can be the best motivator to your team, or to be the best person that you chose to be to your family. It need not necessarily be in a career field, because I think at the end of the day, whether you chose to be in a career or chose to be running your own business or chose to be doing part-time work, only you yourself, you have your own insights. You yourself are always different from the next individual. So to achieve the best of what you have, listen to your heart and you know what is it to the maximum capacity you can achieve. So achieve the best and be of value to yourself and to the people around you and to the society around you.